The word antecede means to come before something. The horse and wagon is a method of transportation that antecedes the automobile. I love dessert and always wished it would antecede dinner. When Jenny catches a cold, she usually comes down with a sore throat, which antecedes a stuffed-up head and cough. Antecede, to happen before something else.
Augment. The word augment means to increase, to grow, or to intensify. The photographer augmented the groom's height by making him stand on a stool before taking the photograph. The newlywed couple hoped to augment their family by having several children. The president's speech augmented the growing turmoil in the country. Augment, to increase.
The word appellation means name or title. The house was designated as an historic landmark, an appellation that soon brought many tourists to its doors. After the restaurant became the scene of a terrible murder, the owners decided to change its appellation in the hope that people would not connect it to the crime. I've always been interested in how people come up with the appellations for their boats. Appellation, name or title.
Prize. The word apprise means to inform or to give news. The school apprised the students of the recent increase in the tuition fee by a notice on the bulletin board. I would like it if you would keep me apprised of your weekend plans. The newspaper apprised the town of the latest political news. The president was not apprised of the details of the bill until after it had been written. Apprise, to inform.
The word abusive means threatening someone or something badly or being harmful or insulting. The kid next door is abusive towards animals and never misses an opportunity to tease his goldfish, kick a dog, or throw rocks at a cat. Children with abusive personalities often learn their cruel, violent behavior from the adults around them. If parents treat their children badly, the children are likely to be abusive toward other people and other living creatures. Another usage for the word is, the abusive language used in the editorial made me wonder if the writer had a personal grudge against the mayor. Abusive, mean, harmful, and unkind. Authoritarian. The word authoritarian means believing in, relating to, or enforcing unquestioning obedience to authority. It can also refer to a person who advocates or enforces such obedience. History has proven that Hitler's authoritarian rule was to blame for many of the ugly and immoral events of World War II. His tyrannical nature demanded everyone to obey his rigid rules without question. His authoritarian regime will go down in history as one of the most cruel and controlling governments. Authoritarian, dictatorial, controlling, or tyrannical.
Arcane. The word arcane means meant for or known to only a select few. Jill stored all her important papers and jewelry in a safe, which can only be opened by an arcane code known only to her and one other person. In a similar way, people often use arcane passwords for email or other online accounts. If these passwords are known by other people, or if they aren't arcane enough and could be guessed by someone pretty easily, then all sorts of information might be available to someone who could misuse it. Arcane. Secret. Not understood by many.
The word abridge means to cut short, reduce in size, or to shrink. The opera was originally 3 hours long, but we abridged it so that it was only an hour. Because we are citizens, no one can abridge our rights to free speech. The meeting had to be abridged so that everyone could make it to the airport on time. Abridge, to shorten, reduce, or shrink.
Antithesis. The word antithesis means the exact opposite of something or someone. Henry and Jake always got together to watch their teams play each other, but at the end of the game, Henry's team won and his mood was the antithesis of Jake's. He was overjoyed by his team's last-minute surprise victory, while Jake was crushed and felt like crawling into bed for a week. Antithesis. Exact opposite of something.
The word agility means the ability to move or think quickly and easily. Gymnastics is a sport that requires a great deal of balance and agility. I was never known for my great agility, so I usually avoided sports most of the time. Where math is concerned, Susanna shows a lot of mental agility and usually picks up new concepts quickly. Agility. Ability to move quickly and easily.
Aghast. The word aghast means to be in wonder or fear, feeling great horror, or being very upset at seeing something. People stood aghast and watched the plane tumble from the sky. They were horrified by what they saw and simply couldn't believe they were witnessing such a terrible disaster. Their mouths were open and many of them were so shocked they couldn't actually say anything at all. Frightened and aghast at the sight, some even turned and ran because they were unwilling to look any longer. Aghast. Struck with amazement or horror.
The word analogous means very similar or comparable in some way. The human body is analogous in some ways to a car, in that they both need energy to move and they both need regular care. Those two situations appear similar, but I don't think they're as analogous as you claim. Many countries have protections for free speech, which are analogous to the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Analogous, similar or comparable in some way. The word alacrity means being eager, ready, and willing to do something. My son always does his chores with a great alacrity, so he can go play with his friends. The dog happily ran across the yard, showing his usual alacrity for chasing sticks. Jeff mowed the lawn, but the hot weather meant that he did it with no alacrity whatsoever. Alacrity, eagerness to do something. The word appurtenance means something added to something else, or a piece of equipment. When we had our first child, we were surprised by all the appurtenances that came with it, including car seats, backpacks, diaper gear, and so on. To play football, you need a lot of athletic skill, as well as the proper appurtenances, so you don't get hurt during the game. The car dealer tried to sell us a lot of flashy appurtenances, but we just wanted the basic car. Appurtenances, extras, or additions.